Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So more on this repellent little troll, Meghan Rapinoe. Yeah, she's done with the US soccer team, but not before having ideologically poisoned these players. And that's no excuse for these shallow, narcissistic, unpatriotic representatives of the United States. They get paid big dollars. The United States throws money at training and coaching, and they can't stand and sing with their hand above their heart for the national anthem. Imagine you're in North Korea and you fail to show due reference to the dear leader Kim Jong-un or the national anthem or the flag. Depending on the weather, you're either put up against a wall or sent to a slave labor camp. Well, the United States had slavery. North Korea has slavery today. And China, there's slave labor camps. You don't imagine that the Olympic team for China would show that kind of disrespect to the country and its flag or national anthem. No. They come with steep consequences. Everywhere across the globe, slavery. The West ended the global slave trade. And, oh no, not good enough for Meghan Rapinoe. You know, she's openly gay, right? Openly gay. Well, that'll get you prison in 69 countries. 69 countries, thereabouts. Being gay gets you prison. In 9 countries, it gets you killed. Why doesn't she go protest in one of those countries? Of course, then her virtue would have some severe consequences. In the United States, she gets endorsements from Nike. She's a multi-millionaire. And speaking of this little troll, she's in favor of trans athletes, trans women participating in women's sports. To decode this nonsense, you just need to know that trans women are men. Yes, they're men pretending to be women. Like Leah Thomas, failed collegiate men's swimmer, couldn't break the top 300, and then dominant female collegiate swimmer, stealing awards from other women. They're losing opportunities, and he's prancing around in the women's locker room with his junk. Oh yeah, he's got his junk completely intact. And Meghan Rapinoe, now that she's a multi-millionaire and retiring from the pitch, oh yeah, let the men play. Let the men play against the girls or the women. Well, they will get crushed. And she should reflect on the fact that if trans men had been allowed to compete for spots on the women's Olympic team, there's no way she would be captain or would have been captain of that team. It would have been a guy in a skirt, and she would be home watching these soccer games on TV like the rest. Well, actually, nobody really watches them except the women's World Cup, right? And the US Olympics, because they were winning. But now, awful. And this will destroy women's sports. I did a previous video, right? The future of women's sports is men. And now, the US Tennis Association, allowing men to compete against women, right? Thankfully, Martina Navratilova speaking out against this nonsense. And in today's climate, it takes some real courage. Of course, she gets attacked as a transphobe. Not a transphobe, she's just not stupid. And these college campuses, there are safe spaces in college campuses, right? I challenge your nonsense and your fragile ego and your inflated sense of self can't take it, and you scurry off to a safe space to pet a teddy bear. I'm not kidding you, this goes on. What women need is safe spaces from predatory males, such as women's locker rooms, right? Women's locker rooms, women's washrooms, they should be safe spaces for women. But leftist ideologues and deluded trans radicals, no, they want men invading these spaces. So it makes them very unsafe. And yeah, a man, Alyssa Rowley, recently won the Women's National Tennis Championship and its golden ball. This guy's a fraud, he's a cheat, and that means some woman who's trained for years, the sacrifices and dedication it takes to win, and she's been robbed by a guy in a skirt. Shameful. Anyways, this ideology is absolutely poisonous. You want to be trans and prance around in a dress? By all means. You got a package, stay out of the women's locker room and stay out of women's sports. And nobody is forcing you to be trans, right? Nobody. You want to put on a skirt? Good for you. Live your life. But don't invade women's spaces, don't steal women's championships, and don't pretend a trans woman is a woman. A trans woman is not a woman. Ergo, the neologism, trans women, right? And you don't hear this nonsense coming from trans men, i.e. women. You see them? Oh, no athletic advantages for being a man. How is it the case that you don't have any trans men, i.e. women, stealing men's championships? You have to be a complete idiot to accept this nonsense. Athletes, they're obviously at the tail end of the athletic distribution. And women, the best, fastest, strongest women in the world, don't come anywhere near the tail end of the distribution on those categories for men. Nowhere near. So, anyways, poisonous nonsense. Happy to see Meghan Rapinoe in my rearview mirror. And thankfully, people are speaking out against this, pushing back, and it needs to continue. This has to stop. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I do appreciate it. And please check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thank you. Bye-bye now.